delve into the code that was given to us when we went to that lecture talking about auditing, how important we supply money to after, Darryl probably knows about this, something to do. But just so we can give these boards and commissions the law we operate under.
Okay.
So they know that what we have to have from them in advance. And some do and some don't because the systems with the board changes. So if we could find out what that code is that we operate, as far as what we have to have for audit purposes
Okay.
from these boards and commissions that we get money to.
All right, next order of business, the Hearts Community Center purchasing new property for $5,000. Ralph, you want to speak on this?
Yeah, I talked with the owner of the property up there, and, see, I don't know the exact amount of square footage and things like that. Those of you all that are here that have worked on that system, or as far as putting that system in, but I do know that that's the only place we can put the system. We're in a situation where, that's what has to be or can't be. So, I would like to make a recommendation, we go ahead and purchase the property for the $5,000 and ask the prosecutor to proceed with the paperwork for that. If that'd be okay.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, the motion carries. Next order of business is personnel. Let's see here.
I don't think I figured it.
Okay. Let's see.
Is this still the paper?
This is, in our budget, we are cutting a part-time, janitor employee. So we are basically cutting a part-time janitor. That's what the personnel issue is about. Just cutting that out of the budget, defunding that position. Do we have a motion to defund the position?
I'll motion.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, the motion carries. Next order of business is, it's unfinished business, possible action, and this was a FOIA request from Versi Sims. I asked Mary to look into this, and with this FOIA request, nothing was found regarding the creation of a Route 3 Public Service District by the Commission. There were three things that were actually discovered. 12/17/09, the Public Service Commission, there was a hearing at 6:30 p.m. for the Route 3 Griswold Water Project. On September the 2nd, 2010, Mr. McCann said in a meeting that the Alcohol Woodville Mud River Water Project had secured all funds except for $1,000 for a total of approximately $7,000. And on April the 7th, 2011, Versi Sims spoke during public comments regarding project 1186 alcohol water line, priority listings of DHHR. And so with that being said, I think we should just forward this to Versi Sims. This is all we have.
Yeah, we look back.
Okay.
And, she might be able to, if there's some records at the PSD concerning the meeting they had over there, she can forward it there.
Yes.
Technically, that was even before the date or the year that she told me to look.
Okay,
Literally,
okay.
I went
Yeah,
back to, we went back to 2009.
This is all we have.
Okay.
So I'd like a motion to send this to Versi Sims.
I'll motion. Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. That being unanimous, the motion carries. You want to send that? Thank you. All right, now we're in new business. Gentlemen, have you read the business? Is there anything that you see that needs to be changed, added, amended? If not, I'd like a motion to approve the new business.
Motion. I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, the motion carries. New business is approved. And commission concerns and communications. Mr. McCann, do you have anything?
I have one item, just as a sort of reminder request. The kids fishing tournament, Hooked on Fishing, Not Drugs, been a thing going on for like 8 or 9 years, and been very successful. And I'd like to request the commission to consider at the April 17th meeting to approve a request in the amount of approximately $3,000 just to continue that. And I realize that we're trying to restructure it, that hasn't happened yet, and so next week.
Why don't we put that on the agenda for the 17th?
I don't have anything else.
Dr. Vance?
I've been talking some with the Hatfield McCoy people concerning the trailhead. The trailhead did open, I think, Monday over there, by the way, people that don't know. That we haven't been able to monitor numbers yet because we hadn't had the personnel there until now to be able to see what we're using. They did tell me that one day over there they had 44 different trucks and 4x4s over there because we're the only system that allows those in Hatfield McCoy. So we know that's been utilized a lot with those type of people. I know there's, I went over to the trailhead and, there's several cabins over there they're putting in now that Dr. Hill's putting in and things of that nature. There's been some discussion, as I think I mentioned before, with Doc Hill about extension of roads and things like that. I talked with the Jeff Lusk, the head of Hatfield McCoy, and I think we're going to look at alternatives as far as putting an extender into near to Bulger Road where people can access it from there, instead of having to go across Route 3 on that road. Because Hatfield McCoy historically hasn't supported trail systems that have on main roads because of the speed of the vehicles and things like that, although there are laws in place now that allows riding on the burn for so far down and things like that right now that the state has enacted. But we're continuing to work on that. And we also talked about the need for people in the McCorkle area that are interested in developing some type of rental property as far as places for these people to stay, and we're in dire need of a campground too in that area. So anyone knows anybody over there that might be interested in trying to develop something like that, get a hold of me, or I'll get a hold of some people, get in touch with you concerning the development of those properties, because we can access the trail system from that end without having to go on Route 3 over there, things of that nature, and I think that helps along. And I think KK's is going to work on some people. I've talked to some people over there concerning further access into that area over there. But that's all I have.
Could you give a little more, do you know where on Bulger Road, so we can share that with the community as we have a meeting?
Well, I don't,
Like-
right now what has to happen is we need to be able to put an extender trail from the system to somewhere right there on Route 3, extended to Bulger. Then we declare the Bulger Road area. It's, the area he was wanting is somewhere around, down to about a mile down in Bulger. So it wouldn't be all the way down Bulger Road, but from Route 3, it would extend down somewhere around a mile, because he has some property there he wanted to develop and things of that nature. And what it looks like now is what we'll do is wait till we see if we can find an extender way to get to that near Bulger Road, so we can just have people access from Bulger Road to the system or vice versa.
And not go across 3.
Not go across what?
Not go across Route 3.
Right.
Skip Route 3.
We want to try to stay away from the main routes if possible because of the car ATV interaction. Our ATVs don't do well against cars. So.
No.
That's all I want.
I think what Doc Vance was talking about is the extender is being as close to Bulger as possible to eliminate the traffic that would have to go down that road. Does that make sense? To eliminate the amount of ATV traffic that you're going to have on Route 3.
Correct.
That's why, yeah, I think that's where.
So it would be
I think,
displaced to Bulger.
yeah, they're trying to, get a back road into, and as close to the entrance of Bulger Road as possible. So I think that's what their map is doing.
Right, and that allows that area to develop so much better. Anytime you can, advertise an area as being accessible to the trail system, which hopefully we can have several areas that we're looking at to do that. But when you can do that, that allows people to, to build their cabins or whatever they need, rent their old home places and things like that, because that's what this fellow's done, is he's rented his I think his mom's house or his house before and things like that. So if people know that or have the ability to do that, then, but we're looking at accessing the trail system with the least amount on any Route 3 that we can, so.
So when somebody says at a meeting, does that mean I can ride my four-wheeler from my house down Bulger to this access road?
That's the way it would be once we have to open up Bulger. The commission would have to decide to open up whatever route, ever how far Bulger Road we would think would be necessary. Once that's done, then, of course, we get permission to cross Route 3 and things like that, but that's what we're looking at doing. Instead of, we want to develop as many of these secondary roads as possible, have those ATV friendly as possible. If there's people in that area that would utilize the system or plan on developing housing and things like that so people can utilize the system. And that's what we're looking at with that there. The original thought was to bring it down through Route 3, but there's about a mile, from what I can see, about a mile of Boone County and 2 miles of Lincoln County that would be involved. And in talking with the director, Jeff Lusk, he felt it would be best trying to look at an extension, a trail extender into that opening there at Bulger and things like that. So it's a little bothersome because some of those, the restaurant and things that are closer to the Lincoln County line there probably won't benefit quite as much. But if you, even, as Jeff and I talked about, even if you have an area near there that you can actually stay and keep your trailers there and things, and even if you have to drive to the trailhead, it's 15 minutes or 20 minutes, so it's not going to be a big inconvenience for people. So we feel it probably is best to utilize the existing structures in Bulger Road and things like that if we can to help develop it.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Jones. Regarding the Travel River Transit, I think the last meeting, I had spoke with the, Paula Smith came and spoke before the commission regarding the Travel River Transit and funding for the Travel River Transit support. One of the questions that I had was for a loan repayment of some monies that the county commission loaned the Travel River Transit, and I wanted to read a response and a possible repayment plan from the Travel River Transit. Paula Smith sent a letter, and she stated, as was previously discussed, the Travel River Transit purchased 5 acres of property at the industrial park from the Lincoln Economic Development Authority to build an administrative and maintenance facility. Construction began on the new facility in October 2009. As soon as the clearing began, it was discovered that there was a large amount of restricted material containing asbestos, which had been buried on the site. Once discovered, this project had to be halted until the entire area was cleaned up. Cleanup costs for the property were to be close to $150,000. At the time, the director approached the Lincoln EDA and the Lincoln County Commission. Prior to the construction, the Travel River Transit was awarded a community participation grants totaling $125,000 for the use on this project. Therefore, the Lincoln County Commission discussed and agreed to loan the Travel River Transit the funds it needed to get the materials containing the asbestos removed, because they felt somewhat responsible since they had given the property to the Lincoln Economic Development Authority to build the business park. Community partnership grant funds would be used to later repay this loan. I would like to ask the County Commission to please consider that when the Travel River Transit purchased the 5 acres of property from the Lincoln EDA for $227,240 to help with the development of this business park, they were under the impression that the property was clean. Since the Travel River Transit wasn't aware of the asbestos material had been buried on the property prior to our purchase, would it be possible for the Lincoln EDA to help cover the remaining loan balance? Therefore, after reviewing the situation, if the Lincoln County Commission feels that the Travel River Transit is still 100% responsible for the loan balance, the following payment was discussed and approved at the March 19, 2014 Travel River Transit Board meeting as follows. Beginning in the fiscal year 2014, Travel River Transit will make a payment of $6,000. June 30th, 2014, June 30th, 2015, June 30th, 2016, and a final payment of $5,881 by June 30th, 2017. Again, please accept my apology and look forward to hearing from you so that this could be resolved immediately. What I would like to do is, they have offered a repayment plan. I would like to put this on the agenda for the April 17th to approve this payment plan and send a letter if we so approve that payment plan. Other than that, gentlemen, I don't have anything else. I'd like to mention there's a town hall meeting Friday, April the 11th, 2014. I think it's going to be reported on the paper.
Is the personnel issue effective now?
Yes. And I'd like to invite everybody, there is a Farm Bureau meeting at 7 o'clock at the town hall. I think it's down at the community center down here in Hamlin.
Upstairs.
Downstairs if you'd like to. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That being unanimous, we now are adjourned.